From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Quebec's new Premier is set to meet with Prime Minister Mark Carney this morning in Ottawa, less than 48 hours after she was sworn in.
Christine Frechette's office told the Canadian Press the Premier is pleased Carney agreed to meet her on such short notice. The two are set to talk about economic development, immigration, infrastructure, housing, and the cost of living. With less than 6 months ahead of the provincial election, Frechette is looking to demonstrate her brand of nationalism can secure gains from Ottawa. Among Quebec's demands from the federal government is a more equitable distribution of asylum seekers across the country. Diana Musina, The Canadian Press.
Ottawa made changes to the temporary foreign worker program last month, clearing the way for employers in rural communities to hire more foreign workers. Now, the northeast BC cities of Dawson Creek and Fort St. John are calling on the BC government to opt in to those changes. Tiffany Hetney, with the Fort St. John and District Chamber of Commerce, says doing just that could help save local businesses impacted by staffing shortages. So far, the province has only said that the program is not a long-term solution to labor market challenges. The leaders of Cold Lake First Nation in eastern Alberta are looking to shine a light on regulatory oversight after a pipeline leak earlier this month northwest of their community. They say they'll be bringing their concerns to the province to ensure that the spill is properly cleaned up. A spokesperson for Imperial Oil says the pipeline in question leaked a mixture of heavy crude oil, bitumen, and water within the company's leased area. They say there have been no reported effects on wildlife or open bodies of water. Ontario is set to embed in its legislation a policy that would give priority for medical residency positions to applicants with a connection to the province. The Health Ministry made headlines last week for rescinding a nearly identical policy amid a court case over it, but they actually withdrew the policy to legislate it. Health Minister Sylvia Jones says that they want to prioritize Ontarians, including those who may have studied medicine abroad but want to return home to practice. She says the legislation would be in line with approaches already taken in the maritime provinces. And finally, U.S. President Donald Trump says more talks between the United States and Iran could happen as soon as this weekend. Reporter Christian Cordero says time is running short on the 2-week ceasefire that's now in effect.
The current ceasefire expires next week, and if there's no deal before then,
I would say the fighting, if there's no deal, fighting resume.
A prolonged war could hike oil prices even higher, even as Americans struggle with $4 per gallon gas. The president, while leaving the White House yesterday, insisted gas prices are not as high as they could be.
Well, they're not very high if you look at what they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon.
Still, experts predict prices from the pump to the grocery store are set to rise with the Strait of Hormuz still closed. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the NHL regular season is over, and now the real fun begins. That is, of course, if your favorite team made it into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Only 3 Canadian teams earned the honor to battle for Lord Stanley's mug. Things get underway on Saturday with the Ottawa Senators visiting the Carolina Hurricanes. The Tampa Bay Lightning host the Montreal Canadiens on Sunday, and the Edmonton Oilers will entertain the Anaheim Ducks on Monday. Now on the ice tonight, the Montreal Victoire will host the Boston Fleet in a battle of the PWHL's top 2 teams. Over to the MLB now, where the Toronto Blue Jays will open up a 3-game series tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The 7-11 Jays will send left-hander Eric Lauer to the mound. And finally, in the NBA, the Toronto Raptors will open up their first-round best-of-7 playoff series Saturday against the host Cleveland Cavaliers. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.